let's see if I can there's usually a 1-minute help. This for a moment. Come and apparently there's no way to that's fine. There's no way to delay this from what I can tell, which is no big deal. Okay, so we flip this around and let's get started. Get this. Okie dokie then. Okay, and let's get started. Oops. Hey, good morning, guys. Let's get started here in just 1 second. Okay. Good morning. This is Simon with TRADEnPERFORM Coaching. It's Friday morning, 12/8. We had some econ this morning. We took a little dip, and then we had a little rip back up. Not surprising, right? So if you'd like a 5-day trial, this is how you get a hold of me. Let's jump into the important stuff, right? So obviously you can see this morning, rip down. The algo is pretty untradeable. When it does this, it's just too fast, and there's no point in trading that. It's all 730, just massively fast moves, right? You can see from there, and then we've recovered the whole move, and we're right back pretty much to where we were before we started before we got the whole news. So this morning, if you look in the room, we have econ at 9 a.m. University of Michigan sentiment numbers, and that is it. I showed no Fed speakers today, so after 9 a.m. it's kind of on cruise control. So my goal is to get my money by 11 a.m. and then go and enjoy the Friday. So a couple of things coming into today that I want to hit right out of the gate, right? So first of all, Drawdown is not necessary to trade profitably, just simply isn't, right? You don't have to draw down to trade profitably. I showed that yesterday. It's okay to have a down day. It's not okay to blow yourself up, right? Secondly, the focus should always remain on, hey, let's grab the highest odds trades. You saw me trading against a strong push up, right? And it's easy to get in trouble there. You saw even with one contract. The only reason that account is negative is because I didn't wait for my long setup, right, yesterday. So it makes perfect sense. So let's go back and look at what the setups are really quick so we have them in our head. Let's erase the lines. And then I'll have to move these lines. But if you look yesterday, so number one, let's get the elephant out of the room. I was a little bit concerned. I got caught in my own trap, right? People watching me, putting my P&L there for the account live, so on and so forth. Not a good idea to be worried about that, right? So I'm going to come in with a different attitude. Hey, if it blows up, it's okay. It's rare, but it can happen, right? If it blows up, it's okay, but take the trades on process and don't worry about the outcome since I can't control it. I got caught up in controlling it, and that's what happened. So if you look yesterday, so first of all, let's go through some of the basic rules, right? Prior to 9 a.m., it's aggressive trading, right? I'm going to say that again. Prior to 9 a.m., it's aggressive trading, okay? So as you can see, if you traded right at 8:50, so I have rules. Let's talk about it for a second. Sometimes the rules cost me trades. Sometimes it saves me from stops. I get a lot of stops between 8:50 and 9 a.m. in my experience of trading. So it's just easier for me to either go easy or have to have a very good setup. Like, for example, what would qualify as a very good setup would have been that this sets up before 9 o'clock, but also additionally, we not have a large gap to the upside, so I don't have to contend with that. An apex trap onto an orange dot, that would have been a good setup, right? Instead of just kind of opened and we had this kind of weird kind of, we're going to sit here, open, and so I didn't have a clean read, and if I look at it now, even then I would say, well, maybe, right? So this did set up over here if you look at it, but only from my most difficult trade, which means, see how they got this triple bar up here? That's a strong push. I want to show you this. See, this is a very strong push right here, okay, at 9:06, and they stopped it out. I probably should have taken that trap back into that. I did not, and I left a very good trade on the table. So, but let's step back for a second, because some people are going to say, but Simon, you said outside the fourth channel. Well, the trap touched the fourth channel, right? I didn't keep my focus, but it did. It touched the fourth channel and trapped back in. That's an okay trade to take. Now, if you're in the category where I need the absolute best trade, everything has to take place outside the fourth channel, that's defining who you are in terms of whether you're an aggressive trader or not an aggressive trader, or you're very conservative. Very conservative is always going to be outside this channel. I should have taken this as my end analysis when I looked. It was fine to skip the whole 850 noise, but I should have been on this right over here, and I wasn't. That's all right. So trade one. Trade number two, I don't want to know if I want to call it a mistake, but hold on, let me clean this up here real quick. There we go. And then let's erase the profiles. There we go. I don't want to call it a mistake, but again, if you look through here, right, I had to get a point of control. These are really strong pushes. It was just a weird day. If we had a fast market, getting below these points of control on these bars is usually a good trade setup, especially when they're all triple dots. These guys are pushing mega hard up here, and they just got stuffed, right? I'd still go back looking at it. What was the best trade I could have taken if I was going to short? Would have been the super trap. So either this one right here takes it out, gets the three dots on the left, or the super trap over here. Super trap is defined as you draw the line across the bar, top of the bar, closes above, closes back in, and you want so the preferable way for that is to have the dots on the left side of that entry, The least preferable way, or the lesser way, would be to have the dots on the right side. Either way, those should have been my two entries over there if I was trying with a short. I did the right thing with the reduced size, but you can see it still got me into a mess, right, with regards to my trading, because it still changed the nature of the way that I trade. And then the last trade, I just goofed up, guys. There's no other way to put it. I was concerned about this being an AB, so I want to go back. Again, this is aimed at the members who've been in the room for a long time, right? This is normally an AB off the side, and what you would expect is this in most markets. So you would expect push down, recovery, and then a CD, right? So as Ed pointed out, this is the outlier when it just comes down, turns, and goes straight back up. So it was okay. But even with that, I should have held out to get my 15, 10, 15, 20 at least. I don't think I should have held all the way up through here. That's not a normal pattern, right? Where we just come down, hit the 62 retrace, and continue on our way. Not normal, very indicative of top of the market, very bullish behavior. And that's okay. I don't have to fix that. Just if you looked at 100 examples of this move, you normally would get a CD leg before the recovery leg back up. We didn't get it, and that's fine. Okay. And then once we got back up here, so I was done with the day, and I want to say this. I'll see a lot of people that I'm coaching in the room go, well, I missed this trade here, right? I missed the long and I goofed the short, right? So I'm going to sit and pound it until I get another long, right? And it's the wrong attitude. The right attitude is I'm going to come back tomorrow and execute at a high level in the first 2 hours of the trading day, right? That's, in my opinion, what the right attitude is. If you look through the rest of the day, there's New York lunch, chop, 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 chop. And then if you sat here and you just spent all this time, the best you could have done, this was your best setup. Actually, there was two. So here is this. And there was this. And then you might have, no, that was at the close. So this and this. So let's go see how those set up. So if we go over to the right. Pretty sure this one stops the first time. But let's go see what we have. I'm almost positive that stops. So you would have taken the long here, right? Because remember, your bar is complete here. Okay, so this is your long. The pink bar is your long. So your entry would have been 375. Prior to going to profit, your low would have been 16. So obviously that's, let's see, 35. So let's just call it 36. Minus 16 is 20. 16 would have stopped you. Your next entry, you can only take two per trade, would have gotten you back your 16 points. But it was that right there. And that obviously carried you from 41 up to 65. So you got your loss back. And then if you look at the next trade, which would have occurred right here, this is your entry. Right there. If you're aggressive, you can take the blue dot. But really, you want I want the point of control above. And you can see you just squeezed out 10 points. If you really try to make anything out of that, right, they got 39 to 51, which is fine. You got 10 points out of it, but not much more. So you got most of your risk off, and there's not much else to say about that. I thought you had to have a lot of patience to sit through that afternoon, and let it build for you, right? So I'm glad I wasn't here for it. It would have been frustrating in my mind, right? Joyce, I would have entered, just like I said, on the pink bar with the point of control above the down bar. I generally wouldn't have entered on the Christmas tree all by itself. So it was the same entry either way. If you would have entered on the Christmas tree up, just enter where the bar closes, right here. 36, you would have needed a 29 stop, so I would have been stopped on that trade if I took it. I won't use more than a 16-point stop. So you're welcome to try it on the backside test. I don't like the backside test. You're welcome to try it if you want. Interesting, Randy. So that's my 2 cents on that. Joyce, I would not have entered at the top of that. I would have entered on the pink bar, just like I said. I would have taken the first stop, taken the second trade. It would have recovered the first stop. There just wasn't much range. Like if you look at it, you're like, oh, but look. I mean, look at it relative to the rest of the day. Here it is. I just wouldn't have worried about it. I really want to trade the best markets. Like, look, like I'm sitting there. Why would I mess with this? I'm already extended one, two. They're working on three swings to a high. I can't take out the swing to the left. It's just grinding, and we've already moved up 200 points. There's just not a lot of juice left in this, unless you thought we were going to go plus 300, right? So I would have liked, what I really would have liked down here is some variation of either this or this, retest, don't break the low in this, or this, come back, maybe take this out over here, and then trap back up to take out this swing over here. Those are the images that would have danced in my mind, or would dance in my mind, and I didn't get any of that. So misplayed, and that's fine. There's no worry about that. And then you'll other notice this is just right behind the 62, but I can draw a lot of these 62s, and it doesn't work out this way. So I'm not trying to curve fit this to be perfect, right? It just doesn't make any sense to do that, right? So moving on for today, let's just move the lines really quick so we have them in the right place. All right, so here's 8:30 yesterday, roughly. So we have a couple of points of interest. Currently I've erased the green line, so I will fix that. There we go. So let's say here's yesterday's low. It's locked. Low. High. That did come before the close. And afternoon swing low would have been, wow, that one's a little bit tougher. I'm going to go with this being the point that I want to defend. Normally I would say the afternoon, which would be over here, and it would have been the closing move, which would have been about right here. I'm really going to say this is what everyone's going to pivot off of. I would rarely do that. I know it's a little bit of deviation from what I normally do, but that's what I would say is your critical swing level from the afternoon that most retail traders will be looking at, right? Okay, and right click, retry. There we go. And then if you look from the prior day, this would be this is another area of interest just because it's the Globex swing low before that big rally. So I'd mark that off. Let's just color it. I don't know. What colors aren't we using? Light blue. Okay. And then let's see if there's anything else that's critical on there. I think that's kind of what we can work with from the framework, and you can tell this is the 50-60 back from that swing. Here, I'll show you. They ran it back to the 62 retrace. They're trying to hold. The logical thing with the strength, so look, at the top of a market, they're going to, remember how the bottom was 2 months ago, month and a half, whatever it was? Well, we were at the low, and it was so convincing that it was just going to go to zero, right? It's the opposite now. It's so convincing that it's just going to keep going up, and the job of the market is to suck every bit, every inch of money out of the market, and then they're going to jack it the other way, right? So let's go look at this from a perspective of, and open this up wide. Let's go look at the profile really quick. I already did it. So you can see with the overnight, this is overnight, right? So if you look how we traded, We opened up, we danced right around the point of control all night long, rejecting out of it. Came down to the single prints, found responsive buyers at single prints, and pushed back up. I'd love to take out the stop. I'd expect some responsive buying somewhere down in this. This is overlaid. And then remember, we don't change character unless we trade below the prior day's low. So your key areas are these purple areas, right? Why? Because they get the responses, right? These pink areas here, this is what it looks like without the overnight. That's what it looks like overnight, right? So this area and this purple area right here, that bottom one runs like 15,815 down to 15,785, let's call it. And this one runs 1580 to 15,900. All of this is fair pricing. The bull's target, the long's target, is going to be to come up and hit this volume point of control up here at 1640. Of course, none of this means anything to me, right? Like, it's nice to be able to look at it and go, oh, where are we going? Like, if you look yesterday, right? We closed here. Where are we going? Repair the single prints. And then it comes up. Here, I'll erase this in just a second. That's the single prints from there. And then there's two prior days highs going back to that same thing, that first and the 30th. We just auctioned over it. So remember when I said when we have this, we can trade all the way through this level, right? So see how it took them 3 days. And why did it take them 3 days? They're sitting in here filling in volume, right? So you start off with your down day, close at the base. Day 2, fill in. Day 3, they filled almost all the way in, but see how they didn't take out the stops on top? So they come all the way up, take out the stops, and then what do? Drop back to the single prints overnight. And that's the way the auction works. So here's the problem I have with auction market theory or profile in terms of using it to trade, right? What I said was accurate, right? I was like, this will be a place where the market can trade all the way through. Sometimes we trade all the way through in a day. Sometimes they want to come back and take out the stops. Sometimes they never come back to it, right? And what I find in our trading is we have to have to make money as a day trader, you have to have a very high level of security that you have a very good odds of getting to profitability, whatever that may be. Okay. However you trade, you have to be, I think psychologically, in order to stay calm, you have to. Now I know that flies in the face of convention, right? But look, that's what the average trader thinks is two things. The average trader believes you can't have a high win rate in day trading, right? And the average trader fails at a greater than 75% for the retail. I think it's higher than 90% actually of retail traders fail, right? So the odds are really stacked against us. So while this makes sense, I can explain and I can go on eloquently about auction market theory and all these things. There's two things that are really important for me here. Single prints, right, are important because I know we get big responses out of them. That's the purple areas on this chart. Prior days highs and prior days lows that have been untested, I know that generates big counter rotations. And then when we're one-timing, right, I watch for the one-timing to end either on a 15 or 30-minute basis. So I can either use the 15 or I can use the 30 from the profile, right? Those are the primary, and then where the prior day point of control is because I know it's choppy. Everything else about that, right, it benefited no one in the room. When we were right over here, right, and I said, oh, we could easily trade all the way through here, not one person benefited from it. Let me explain why. Because the way the PA went through here was unpredictable from this vantage point, right? Where it was predictable, but where it does become predictable, right, both in ES and NQ, is when I swing over here. I need to make sure that my trade copier is on. Hold on one second. Settings, trade copier enabled. Okay. There we go. And let's lower size. There we go. So in order, right, in order for me, I need to be able to function in this environment, I need very precise, specific instruments. And this is your instrument, right? Even over here, right, if I'm trading at 7:30 in the morning, I need a way to, if I'm just on profile, I just go, oh, I'm in single prints, but that single prints covers a wide area, right? And there's a ratio, okay? And the ratio works like this. This is, hold on, let me see if I can set this up still. It's been a couple of years. So, loss and size of stop, right? So the further your stop, the further your stop goes out, the larger your loss, right? The tighter your stop, the smaller your loss. Now, the problem down here is if you're not accurate, it's stop, 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 stop. The problem up here is you get it right, but you can never add leverage, right? I think I did that right. My math guys, if I get that, if someone knows how to actually build a graph, that's probably the first graph I've built in 10 years, but there you go. That's what it looks like. So this is stop size. This is dollars lost per contract. Okay. So I want to be over here with small loss and huge maximum gain versus being over here, which is fewer stops, right? But restricted. So now if we do it the other way, right? If we do this as gain versus stop. Okay, but this bar is going negative instead of positive. So I guess it would be more like this, right? So it would be gain versus stop. So if I'm over here, right, my gain is way out here per contract, right? But I can only do one contract because the size of my loss would be significant. If I'm over here in this area, my stop frequency potentially is higher, but my win rate is just massive when I get it right because I can use more leverage than just trading smaller leverage, right? So what I want to do is find a balance in the middle. What's the balance in the middle? Well, I was demonstrated yesterday and constantly on this chart, right? If I get behind, so our algo has found a way to identify where buyers and sellers are trapped, right? To put it in a nutshell. If I can get behind the point of control where buyers and sellers are trapped, I have a good odds of making profit. And luckily, thanks to the blessing of leverage and futures, this little move, right? You go, oh, but that's a little move. This little tiny move right here, from here, I know I'm showing the short, I'll show the long in a second. From here to here means I get a 16 to 90, which is roughly a 25-point move, which equals $500 a contract, which now if I can put on 3 or 4 contracts, right, that's, let's just call it $500 a contract for easy math. So it's 500, and let's say I can put 4 contracts on, and I don't scale. It's always all or none for me, right? I'm in, I'm out. Binary. Well, that's a $2,000 move for me if I do it that way. And I know we scale and all that good stuff, but that's a $2,000 move. I can make my living out of that. So, so then my next goal, my next focus, right? My next focus is what are the highest odds trades and what specifically am I looking for? So that requires homework, so on and so forth to get the very best. But I can already tell you the very best, right, comes when I scroll back on this chart. When I get a negative bar on the outside, dots down, I get above the point of control, and I slingshot to the other side. Why? Because this one's worth about 40 points or $800 a contract. You can just do the multiplication on it, right? And in addition, it also was an apex trap outside the 4th channel. Now, if you go to yesterday morning, right? Oh wait, this is another morning. Here's yesterday morning over here. I need to check how many days I've loaded. If I go to yesterday morning, all I wanted this to do was peek its head below here. And I got so tired by the time we got over here at 909 waiting for it to do it that I forgot to notice that we actually did touch the 4th channel, which is still a good trade, right? But we were just kind of stuck in this mess, and it's hard to maintain the detailed focus, right? But again, one of the options was I could have just taken one over here and let it stretch because this was a 100-point move, $2,000 a contract. But I'm greedy. I like to have my trades look like this. And in the time frame they set up. And in the time frame it set up, I didn't want to take this trade because it was right on the button. And so let me go back. If I get this set up and I go, wow, that sucks. I was right at 850 and I didn't take the trade, right? So back it up. Go back and evaluate. Go look at 20 850s to 9 o'clocks randomly, right? Find your best setup in that window and find out, does it go to profitability or not? That's how you determine whether you want to trade there. The easy answer is wait till after 9 o'clock, right? If you wait till after 9 o'clock, the PA tends to clear up and you're not having everyone stuff it down your throat. This morning, we have a lot of econ coming out at 9 o'clock, so wait till 9:10, right? Before you trade, unless you're okay with getting stopped. Now, if you trade at 9:01 and say that was outside the first half hour and I waited, that's true. But you're trading right around econ, which is the same as trading right around the open, okay? And you just have to hope it sets up after 9:03, 9:04, 9:05, 9:06, somewhere in that window. But I would not be the first person in unless your trade plan says, I'm all right getting stopped there because I'll take it again in the higher hours. I see people up front before they get stopped, I'm probably including this, going, yeah, I'm fine with the stop. But let's play pretend land. Let's say econ came out yesterday at 9 o'clock. It didn't. But let's say it did. You took the trade wherever. You thought it was running, so you took it over here, and it stopped you out. Then at 9:10, you got your best setup, and you said, I'm not going to take it. I just got stopped out. That's wrong. Okay? Don't enter in your highest odds period of getting stopped out and then forsake the opportunity where it's the highest odds, right? Don't do that to yourself. You'll be really frustrated. The other thing I see people doing, and I'm hearing this a lot, I chased, and it's hurting my trading. I can tell you 5 points makes a dramatic difference on your entry. So those of you who watch on YouTube, just know this is delayed. There's nothing I can do about it. It's normally delayed. Any live YouTube you're watching has anywhere from a 1 second to a 5 second delay in it, right? If this is for educational purposes for y'all. If you're trading, you should be in the room where you're seeing the data form live and undelayed so you can maximize your profit, right? The last piece is and we saw this real time in the room yesterday, and we're about to open, so I'm going to flip. But when you see no rotation, your job is not to try to catch this, right? Because you're going to have what I had. Stop, 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 win, right? But sometimes this win never comes. This just continues for hours, right? So I was wrong. There's no question about it. I should have waited to see the rotation or have been ready to take the long when they finally dipped it down. So let's go see what they do this morning. We're right at the open. I do not trade the open, will not trade the open. And before I go into a cat in the hat book, let me see where we are opening on the profile. So we're right at unfair value from yesterday. And you get the response almost immediately out of the unfair value. And really the target is 16,030, right? So that trade's not for me for multiple reasons. That trade is not for me. Whoa, what did I do with that? Please don't tell me nope. Put this back. Let's see it. There we go. And then let's see what we have. Remember, we have econ at 9 o'clock. Okay. If I take a trade early, it'll be on reduced size, right? 2 contracts max, 1 maybe, right? And I'm going to let them stretch their wings a little bit and see what we want to do. We're at the top end of the latest trading range, right? So let's just see what they do. And I'll show where the setups look like. Like right now, at least hypothetically, it's short underneath this guy. Right there. That minus 17 points. I'm not taking it for 2 reasons. It's in the middle of the channel. We're right at the open. I want to let them see it develop just a little bit, and I'm really aiming towards 9 o'clock unless I see something that goes, oh, that's really, really good, right? So now the long is over this. Again, I'd like to get it outside the 4th channel. And they're just on the whip around right now, so I'll just let them whip around. NQ's down 60, ES is minus 6. Would not surprise me to see us go positive at all. And that's a normal thing to say in a bull market, right? Which is what we're in. And the way this rollover will work, most likely, is see how good a job they've done of pulling buyers in. be aware of the potential for the straight down. Look for delayed open drive lower, etc., etc., etc. Right now we're just inside the day and balancing between the 2 points, right? And I'm not going to play that game here. I'll let them either stretch and take out lows or highs or look for apex traps, but I'm going to let it develop, and I'm going to see if I can see a rhythm that they're trying to do at all via the patterns. And see how many Christmas trees are lighting up? That's the bars with the dots on it. Because a lot of volume is flying through very, very quickly, but we want to see fewer of those, actually. We don't want them popping up all over the place. And if y'all will give me 1 sec, I'll be right back. And we have the whip around. My guess, and it's only a guess, is if we get a point of control over that, they'll squeeze them up in front of the number. And that's, see how that guess is accompanying a process, right? So if I have a thesis, right, I'm not trading on that thesis, but if I have a thesis, I know where that break comes. So what's the opportunity there is that I have a way of entering that trade with control, right? So if my thought is, oh, so now let me marry the two together. So if my thought is, oh, we're going back to the prior day's point of control, how would we do that? We'd have to get over that level, target this, that's the overnight point of control, this is prior day's point of control, and then this unfair pricing, right? That's how I would have to view that, right? That's the lens through which I'd view how we would get there, right? But then I need to control it, because if I just say, hey, we're going back to the point of control, right? I'm back to I can't use leverage because it's random. Like, does my stop go here, 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 here? What am I going to do to judge how I'm going to trade that trade, right? And the answer is I have no idea how I would do that, right? I'm going to say it again. The answer is I have no idea how I would do that, right? So therefore, it makes no sense, right? Therefore, it makes no sense to make a decision one way or another as to what I'm going to do if I don't have a process I can build around a greater theory, right? It would make no sense. Like, to me, that bar down now tells me we're going to go take out these stops down here. But again, it's judging it within context of, look, there's no rotation, there's no range. That's a 4-tick ES bar. We're just, here's the open. We're just not moving. Like, the whole range is 85 to 78. There's just no rotation in it. So let them make their move, and then we'll make our move, would be the answer to that. This is still the breakout point, in my opinion. That 79.50, point of control above, 15-point stop, 16-point stop, and rip towards the level up above. And if I was going to get a long, I'd like a long to set up somewhere out here in the bottom of the channel. Still getting way too many signals popping up. And that's because we have a very tight range. Cool, thank you, Bill. And you can see this guy's defending until he isn't. The other thing you get when you look at it is just the rotations just aren't crisp here. You need a point of control over that line on the 15 tick over here. See how they very cleverly placed it underneath. Oh, now they moved it on top, but they couldn't get the bar to close there. So now, the 8/6 quarter, right, which is where I would not want to take the trade, is telling me that's where we're going to break out. Again, I'll let him work itself out, and then I'll see it or I won't. So you can see how that was a really critical place. I didn't think that other traders thought it. Why? They pushed up into it, couldn't get the point of control above, and now they've pushed away from it, right? So if I get the point of control up and over that, I would expect a lift. Like that pink bar. So if I thought we were breaking out, see how I know the point of control is above now? My limit would be 83.50 with a 16-point stop. Oh, now they moved it back underneath. No dice. Right on it, and move it up just a drop. There it is, but it's not gonna. It's just gonna be point of control above. I won't take it. Just FYI, top of the channel, my first trade of the day, and you can see the battle that's going on there, right? There's the point of control above, and bye-bye. See that? And they're really precision pointed about it. Now, that should be the gateway to the push to 1620 to 1640. I would have loved for that to set up long down here and then stack up here. But no dice. And they're trying to push it lower now. That's funny. And we're really in fair pricing, so less defense of any one location. Thanks, Randy. Let me come back and test that 79. marching on. Damn, I would have really loved that setup from down here. But the Momo guys are happy. Again, there's no point in fighting this short, right? We're near the highs. We have not broken down. We haven't been able to sustain a breakdown. Sellers have not shown up on a consistent basis. Buyers have. Engine towards it. We should get a fresh perspective after 9 o'clock. I think. Oh, we had that breakout. I did not take it. 36 points. 40. Now, if you were looking for the short, you're looking for this bar up on top. But you're looking for this up here. I think he's still negative on the day, heading for 18 points from gap fill, from retail gap fill, meaning where we settled. There you go. Oh, I can't seem to get it right on the number. You're pointing control below 20 for a potential retest back to 80. Again, not my thing to short this early in the day. So that 13 would be the print below. And just like that, it falls down. It was this bar. So see how you can have an idea, oh, it's short. If you just let the algo tell you tip its hand to where the buyers are stuck, right? It's a big help. Interesting. Thanks, Randy. I can. How about now? Okay, cool. Oh, but it changed the perspective of the chart. That's pretty funny, just by a tick. Now it's this for the continuation breakout. So it changed the bottom. No, it still had the same breakout there. So you have double buyers here, right? See, that's showing you where there's strength. You would expect this to get defended, right? Does that make sense? Doesn't mean they will. Just you'd think they would. There's the push down into the buyers. There's the blue dot up. And we are 1 minute from our window of stop and chop. There's the pink bar. They defended it. They got over the point of control, lifted. Now back to this 22, 25 area for a backside test. And even if you're not trading this area, right? Do what I'm doing. Draw out the stuff. Where would I expect this? How does this work? How does that work? It should slow down and drop, making the read easier after 9 o'clock, right? But ask yourself, how does this work? How does that work? Use this period to tune your brain up, or do the other way, totally tune out and don't pay attention to it and keep your brain on ice, right? So that you have the energy to come back at it afterwards. And don't forget to write down your thoughts, everything in your journal in shorthand, right? Like one of the things I wrote to reinforce my idea was don't worry about taking that account negative, right? Just take the trades on process. Don't worry how it looks. It looks how it looks, and that's all there is to it, right? Just don't worry about it. But don't worry about it while you're taking trades on process. And don't make the assumption that they'll buy if they dip or that they'll sell if they rip. Just make the assumption that you're going to follow the process, right? And it's fine to anticipate from that movie again, right? But do not go off course in following your entry process, because when you do that, there's no way to correct it, right? Anticipate, but don't deviate. Right. And there's some nervous Nellies in front of the Michigan number. Again, look for delayed open drive lower. Right? Just, we'll get our trade today. There's no doubt about it. Maybe 2 or 3 really good ones. This will be interesting. These guys defended the first time, and they're underneath them now. They were pretty strong buyers. I'd agree with that, Randy. Do, 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 do. Hunting, hunting, hunting. You don't have to know which way it's going to go. Just trade this up. That was a apex trap right here, just FYI. And I'm not going to take it right before. That's a good super trap. There you go. An illiquid jumperoni. See if we can get outside the fourth channel. Nice to get some swings and stops. Again, if you get over this 3450, right, look for it to point of control above. That'll be breakout for continuation, right? Otherwise, that's the rejection point. What I really want is to get set up somewhere out here in this fourth channel. And there's no open drive higher or open drive lower, just so you get a quick pick. We made a Marshall new high. Here's your last swing. Point of control above should take us back up to the high, which is what they're shooting for. Yes, not backing down. Again, I'd like to be in that fourth channel. They're certainly trying. Super trap. Dot into dot. It just looks like we're back into that all buy all day. Until they break it. And then we'll switch it down. But there's no relief on this. Just everyone thinks we're going higher. And that's okay. All right too. Amazing. Once they get them jammed, they get them jammed. That whole seasonality thing is just bye, bye, bye. Above prior day's high. No sign of stopping. Now, it is not fun when we have one-way markets, is it? We just have to sit patiently and wait for them. Guys, I don't know what else to say. It's just straight up. we don't have any volatility, so I'm just going to sit here and wait. I'm certainly not going to short this. I know when it breaks, it'll break hard, but man, you don't want to get killed on this. Let me check one thing here. Give me just a second. That's what you call a suck open. We need some negative news or a break or something. Well, that point of control. Potential short. Or a potential to roll down. Guys, when the market gets to the tops and they just grind on them, you gotta wait till they suck in every last buyer and then it opens up. I agree, Ian. Let me see something here. Why is this running slow? Potential apex trap up there. Whatever. There's no rotations. It's just straight grind up. Guys, there's nothing you can do about that. You have to be insane to short it. You just have to let it work itself out. You just have to. You can keep trying to short it. They're just going to keep trying until they've got it worked out where they release and people start looking for buyers below. There's no rotation, counter rotation on this, just none, and it's seasonality. So we're in the middle of a freaking rock'em sock'em kind of rally, and that's not fun. Low vol. Dang it. There we go. Oh, I see what's blocking it. Oh, that solves a lot of problems. Well, we're gonna have a little bit of a wait. You can just relax until they get it down there. Guys, I hate to do this to you, but I think I'm going to take a break for 30 minutes and see if it wakes up. It's just non-farm payrolls, open drive higher, trend day up with no counter rotation. Like, it's no fun to just sit here and wait, and that's what I'm doing. I'm waiting to get to the bottom of that channel at minimum, right? And we're only up, like, not massively. 68 points. Like, there's nothing that says we can't go up 200 again today. When you look at it, that's what retail traders will be thinking when they're looking at it. Like, we're only up 68 points. Let's go 100. But look, every dip is getting bought in NQ. Like, there's just no reasonable semblance of a seller. If you see it, let me know. And then you got to watch out for this. When they drive and drive and drive like that, when the bid comes out, there's nothing underneath it, right? So all we've done to this point, if you look at the profile chart, all we wanted was a dip down the last 2 mornings, and we can't get it. Just toppy markets. Volume point of control, try to get past it. Unfair pricing above. They're trying to hit this, right? They're trying to hit this, but this is the top of balance. If you look, one, every other day, right? So that goes all the way back to the 30th. They're trying to hang out above, right? So I would expect exhaustion up here somewhere, but what that looks like and how it does it are two different things. And the slow pace is just, I've got to compensate for that in my mind so I don't get irritated, right? Strong push back up, which is good. I want that. Pushing into top. So we're going to have IB high to deal with, or the IB high stat after 9:30. Good job, Guy. Guy already put down 1,200 for the day, and he's taking the weekend. Hey, Guy, can you post your trades to the rim? Your what you took as long? I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna say Guy took this right here at the fourth channel, or he took the long on the breakout from the supernova. Yeah, Guy, you got it, dude. Next week is gonna be you'll be in pretty sweet shape. Spec algo's right here at the bottom of this minute. Yep, he's doing a good job, man. Waiting, waiting, waiting. There's 9:30. So remember, the likely release, this guy pushed back hard to the high and didn't make it. Quantity control underneath him could release quite easily. Be aware of your fall below. That purple bar within 15 points should hold. If you're willing to short. I'm not. I'll wait for the long, or I'll wait to see that we are short and wait for the next roll up. One of the two. But I won't guess at where the break's coming. Just too hard when they're in this environment and they're just like drive, 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 drive. Drives me nuts, right? And when the market is short, we'll know because we'll have a big down day, and then you'll see the recoveries back up won't last. They'll sweep down, and they'll sweep down pretty quickly, right? So again, just to point out the pattern, big push up. Point of control below, down. Let's go, let's go, let's go. This is IB high. What color that? I don't know. Bubblegum pink, I guess. So it's IB high. Maybe a point over, but close enough for hand grenades. This is where you stay nice and calm and just wait for it to set up. If you don't draw down on days like today, don't give up the hard profits that you've worked for so hard, and you let the market open up, you won't have anything to recover from when it finally goes. Right? Backside test at the 66, prior day's high. And collapse on the S. Told you, straight out of bed. It's just how it works. Caution. That's an impulse move lower. Now you can try for the V shape like yesterday if you want. That is not my style of trading. Okay. And I do not like this when it pops right above prior day's high. Not the trade for me. Okay. Down here, sure, because I can target up there. But every retail trader in the world is going to be looking at that. Nighty night. Would not try to catch that. We went straight up for multiple days in a row. There are no trapped. There's no trapped buyers or sellers below it. We just went in a straight line, right? Told you. Don't try to free fall catch that thing. Let it set up on process. 3 down. That tends to be exhaustive. Free falling. This guy pushed and couldn't make it back to the high. See ya. This guy's pushing. You gotta get a point of control above him. Pink bar, 2 times. Stay on process. You can take that pink bar if you're aggressive, but you want the point of control over. It's that pink bar with a 15-point stop, or this one right here got the point of control over. So I need a back side test. I hate these impulses down like this. Okay, take it here with a I'm long 32.75 with a 32.22, let's call it 17 stop. Actually, I don't even need that much, do I? Yeah, that's fine. 32.17 stop. Why isn't this working? Not this. I mean the, that. Hold on. It's not working for some reason, but I'll fix it. Oops. Damn, that's going to stop. Exact opposite of yesterday. That's frustrating. Or not. I won't move my stop. Just FYI. If you need to bail on the trade, I understand, but I'm not going to. I don't understand what's going wrong with my deal here. It's alright. I'll fix this. And now no lift. So irritating. Come on, let's go. 42 for the scale. Got it. And flat. I've got a problem here I got to fix real quick, guys. Give me just a second. Sorry, I exited that trade earlier than I wanted to. I'm having an issue here. Cancel. See this fix? It's with my dome. Let's see if I fix that. There we go. Did anyone else take that trade with me, guys? I apologize. My dome's messed up there. That's fine, Ronnie. I've got no issue with that. I think that's an impulse move lower. That's what I think. So it'll be interesting to see how they deal with it. I would flat that out if I were here, or at least scale down to trailers at 54. Oh, I hate slow markets. I just do not hold these V-shaped bounces. I want them to retest, and they're just not doing it. I'm happy with the P&L. Don't get me wrong. I just cannot hold on these slow grinds. I do not do a good job of it. I look at it and I go along and I go, they're not responding quickly enough. I've got to get that adjustment made. Right to backside test prior day's high. Slow grind market. And second day in a row, total ripper. I exited early. That just, guys, this is how it is at the top. This will not be this way all the time. So if you're ripping these, just realize it'll adjust. And guys, I suggest you just stay on the process, period. Don't adjust your stops. It's very cute when people go, I think this can be the stop, or I think that can be the stop. Please don't do it. I have a long history of watching people constantly move stops, and they get crushed. Looks like guy followed process. That's what I would say. I mean, look at his. Wow, I'm so hating these V shapes. I cannot tell you how much I'm hating them. Guys, I apologize. I'm having some kind of problem with Rhythmic. So I'll keep fixing this. But, man, I left 50 points on the table. But that's all right. The V shape is so difficult. I mean, that is so out of the ordinary, except for this week. But if you stay on process, it's really working fine. I mean, damn, I don't have a read for V shape up. If it had challenged it a second time, I'd have said yes. But fudge, just look, just no pause at the prior day's high. And then we just get ripped straight to the upside. Let's see what this does. And I don't even know what to say in all that. I don't know if someone made a comment somewhere and just was like, everyone's like, woo, let's roll it up. Nothing. Just endless straight up markets. And that was all right 2 weeks ago, but now we're like long in the tooth. And we're 4 minutes until the top of the half hour prior to London close, so no trade zone. Just wow. Anyone have anything? Like, that's the second day in a row, just first dip, massive rip. Good job, Ronnie. Well, it's kept us safe. Even if and I'm back up to positive on that, but even if. I'm telling you, shorting has to be the hardest thing ever at this point. There's just no give up in it. And you can't tell me there's not people that go, yes, I caught the roll down from the high. and then all the way back up to IV high. I don't believe it. Just shy of IV high. Do you see that? Look at that. They all pushed and they failed. I'm sure they'll come back on it, but what a vicious thing. I mean, those sweeps are just something else. And you can hear my agitation. I'm pissed. That was almost a 100-point sweep, second day in a row, straight up, after whoever that seller is that comes in at the exact same time, and then just face rip for the rest of the day. That just, oh, come on, let's rotate. I think I've got this fixed, but I'm not sure. Push again. I am not extending my trades 2 days in a row. It's all right. I'm profitable, but not what I want to be. Money control underneath. That with a 15-point stop. The shorts are working okay too today, actually. Now. And it's so hard when you're cautious. You're like, oh, impulse move lower. You know, when you look at this, normally if you're guiding somebody, right, and you go, we just moved 36 to 24, caution on the longs on an impulse move, most of the time you'd be right. Like, people would look at you and go, you're a nut job, right? But not here. bottom trade. Retrace back up. Man, slew. Thank you, Ronnie. And look, Ronnie kicking out the numbers. Guy kicking out the numbers. Tasia. Because I waited for it to backside test because I'm hesitating and trading like crap. Would be the reason for that. And attempted lift off of prior day's high this time. $76 traps and back up again, hypothetically. They're trying to take out that 64. And they pushed pretty, they pushed okay to do it. They're just not sure what they want to do. Like, look, how could you be when we're swinging all the way back up and you think, oh, I've got it to the upside, right? So I need to get out of just trying to read this at this point because it's ridiculous. And even with all the struggles, I'm up. I'm just not up what I want to be, which I'm sure everyone can relate to. Hypothetically, that should push higher. I'd say as long as that low holds, they'll push out. and make one more attempt back up. Meaning that's 64. I cannot close below this. And now it's been tested. If you look at that, we've been tested once, twice, so once from earlier, twice, third time failed, fourth time back over. And that's a 50-60 back from that impulse move. Failure to take out IB high, which is rare, right? That's a 90 some odd plus % stat. So now it's got to hold whatever this magical 64 is. With no push down to signal less for long. Here comes the test. Below, we can't close 60. See, they tried. That 60-50 probably busts it. Hey Sean, can you update me on the auto trader on your end? And Bill, if you can. Closed underneath. They don't want it to close back above. Try to save, try to save, try to save, try to save. You'll notice they didn't put the point of control underneath. Very clever. Either one of these bars. But they will on this one if it closes. And chop, chop, chop. Come on. Just underneath. Just underneath. They didn't get that point of control cleanly below. See? They were very clever with the placement. So right now the best you can do is get a pink bar to recapture over this guy because there's no down. So that's what they have to get over. That's the guy that's stuck right now, right? So everyone's playing this game of will we hold prior days high or not and go trend up, or do we fail and then wipe out the trade? And the way you tell that for sure, by the way, you go back to the open, which was this. Take your 50-60 retrace. This. Right now, this is your line of delineation. That will signal, for now, behind the 62 retrace, and that probably signals you can, usually when you get behind that, you can start shorting rallies back up. So we'll see. Point of control below. So my guess is they're going to come test this. Man, what a wicked, wicked thing. Got it. Thank you, Bill. So there's my P&L for the day right now, and I'm approaching the end of my window. I'll trade till 10:45 or something like that, but I'm not going to trade New York lunch. Give me just a second. Woo! Down we go. And of course they're going to try and save it at the 50-60. ES does not look the same as NQ, by the way. Very different. -2. Now ES is flat. Excuse me, NQ is down too. I guess they do look the same. Trying to test that breakout again. When was the last time they were here? Wow, very weak bottom number. Testing into it. We actually want 25.50 to close and then to get an up number if they can do it. Get an up bar on this 50-cent chart. Come on, 25.50. There's a 62 retrace right there. That 17 to 13. The other way you get is an apex trap over here if you get a dot on it. That's the other opportunity. They're pressing down into this. And remember, we're heading right into London close. That's where the pop came. Is that where the pop came yesterday? I think it was. Because I goofed that trade yesterday too. No love. No love on the downside. Come on, we needed that. Press down. I guess actually this would work just as fine. If we get the 41 would be long, technically. I don't like it. I would have rather it test the 25, 50, and then printed the long. But they're trying to come back on it. And the obvious target is 66. But I have no setup here. I needed the hard down there and then get above the point of control. Well, something's going to give. They got the bar up. They need a pink bar to go with it. You got the point of control. You need below this guy and above this guy, and that's the 50 retrace where they're making all the noise. You really need to go take the 62 and test it, I think. Just a lot of noise. $66 even over the weekend. I could have done better, but as I say to y'all very, very often, right? Even at 422.04, if you did that average, right? And I know I'll do a better average. Right back to it. So predictable. This is where you need the point of control underneath. That's going to do it. Look at that. Just crazy. You had to be mega fast on that purple bar. If you were shorting. I agree with what you said, Bill. 100%. Trying to save it again into London close. And then we find out. But the meat of the good opportunities have passed, and I'm not going to call it fumble today, but I thought I could have done better. But it's all right. Much better than yesterday, that's for sure. No ticky-tacky stops, just poor execution on my part, but I can fix that. London has closed, and now we find out what they want to do. Again, that prior day's high is going to be their target. there's the deal above, point of control underneath. You got to get the bar underneath there to go lower. You have the point of control. Underneath, it's 15-point stop if you're looking for the short, if you think we're going to roll it to the downside, right there. Again, tough trade and past our prime hours. So I'm going to open the floor in the room to questions. Anyone have any? Great job, Bill. That's awesome. Auto traders coming along, guys. Good job, Randy. Here's what Randy took. Documented it and everything. There you go. Right here. Done. Point of control above, 15-point stop, back up. So I'm not trading great, guys. Randy, I think everyone in the room's outperformed me today, which is all right with me. I'm fine with it. That's the whole entire point, is that everyone perform in the room. I'm just underperforming myself. So that's obviously disappointing. But I'm all right with that. If I make the least and everyone else makes the most, that's still cool with me. I know that I'll have my days, and I'll have big days. Like, they won't be like, oh, wow, well, you got your ass beat kind of days. Whatever you do Friday afternoons, don't sit there and dig on it. And guys, on YouTube, I'm going to cut it. That's we as you see, I'm still struggling a little bit in my own trading, but the process was fantastic. I'll get it fixed. I did better than I did yesterday, and that's really all you can ask for. So, anyways, that's my 2 cents. If anyone has any questions, I don't see anything coming across the floor. Randy, great job. That's much easier now, right? Now that you made the adjustment, correct? And as I would tell anyone else, 422 is better than nothing, and get you over $75,000 a year, right? If that's the best I can do, if I continue to struggle for 1 year from now, the worst I'll do is $75,000. If that's the best I can do, right? But the process is great, and I'll get over whatever little yips I'm having right now. I'll get over those. My guess would be overall, now that we're trapped a second time, is we're going to come in and test this 6017 to 6013 on NQ. It's just a guess, but it makes sense at this point. You would take out all the stops from the bounce, you'd push into the 62 retrace, and then that's where we would look for what kind of setup we'd have, and if it does anytime soon, it'd be in the 4th channel. So anyways, that's the next target. If that fails, right, you're really back to retesting Globex lows, I would say, or prior days lows. So we shall see. Let's hang on for a minute, see if this pushes down. Is everyone trying to save it? That doesn't make sense. Remember, a lot of profits are on the table for profit taking on a Friday afternoon. There just are. Come on, push big into that. Taking out all the stops. Give us an orange dot down. Trap them. Push them into lunch. Come on. There you go. There you go. Nice. Orange dot down. Now you know what you got to clear. That was the shove. Don't guess. Right? Wait till you get above. It's actually a little bit higher than that, but I can't get it exactly. Above 21, you need the point of control. Right? Guessing kills you in these circumstances. Just FYI. You don't know that they're going to hold that 62, so you need the setup, right? And you got to be prepared to take it twice because the time of the day is highly unfavorable after 10:30, right? That pink bar is going to do it, so I'll take it on half size, 24, let's just call it, with a 15-point stop. It didn't give a pink bar, but I'll still take it. Filled at 22 1/4, and so 1208 is the stop. If I get stopped on this, I'll be pissed. 22 12 minus 5 is 7. Excuse me. Oops, wrong sizing. 7 is the stop. I have to be willing to take it twice. I may have just train wrecked my day. Adding one here, same stop. 07 brings me down to 1875. And now I have no choice. I just gotta let the stop sit there. It either pushes or it doesn't. Letting go of the add. So now I'm back to 2. And now I'll just have to wait patiently and see if they stop me or not. Or I'll add again if they push back down. But that's the proper setup. And now you have another right here. This is what I have to get above. 2250. That's Geo. I will add back that 1 if I get underneath 12. Back to 3. And I'm going to write in my journal that why did I trade after 10:30, but that's all right. Let's let it work. I would have pointed that out anyways in real time. So it's just either a stop or it's not. Add it back. 07 is the stop. We'll had like a nanosecond there to scale that out. Scaling the ad. That brings my cost, says 1175, but I don't know if that's accurate. And back to 2 contracts. And now let's see if I can't get them to squeeze up into New York lunch. I truly, truly hate these slow markets, but and what's going to happen psychologically, right? I wasn't patient the last 2 days. Now I'm patient on this, and I'm going to get stopped. I'll get frustrated, but that's okay. Like I said, the goal is just to take the trades on process. They'll give it to me again at 11. I'll take it. Back to 3. Go back off the one I added. Back to 2. And let's go. Scale out half down to 1 contract. Now I gotta make a decision for the day. I will go flat right there. That puts me up 600 on the day, 627. And that's exactly the goal I tell people to work off of, right? So I'm still struggling mentally with the slow pace, but I know that I can still put the P&L in. And obviously my trading has sucked. So if my trading sucks and that's what I have, $627 is $75,000 a year, if I'm right. I think. Let's see. And I always keep that in mind. How many hours does someone have to work to make that money, especially when I'm struggling like that, right? It's $150,000 a year. 627 a day is $150,000 a year. Not bad, right? Not bad. And I followed process. I just didn't execute. Like I didn't let my extensions go and anything else like that, right? But I did accomplish getting the account back to green. I'm finishing the week on a strong note. I'm trying to think if there's any other criticisms I should be paying attention to myself. And I have the weekend to recover to have a good week next week. So, yeah, I'll take that. And my read was pretty good. My execution and management left a little bit to be desired this week. But not entirely. Not like, oh my gosh, what were you thinking kind of thing. So I have a weekend to work on it. Back in the hole. I just want to watch how they play this out. Okay, minute 346. Sean, where's your P&L? Which ones did you trade today, buddy? The ones at the bottom there? Is that what it is? Or you traded 27? Which ones were on Auto Trader? All of those were Auto Traders? But that does wrap it up. 627 for the day. That's compared to yesterday. That's great. My losses were lower than my profits. I sucked on execution. I sucked on management, and I still, following the process, can pull out money out of it. Like that's very helpful to me, at least. The large ones are the Auto Trader. Great. Auto Trader's close, guys. We need a couple more weeks to finalize some things, but good stuff. It's showing consistent green at this point. So that's exciting. And I think I'd be pressing my luck to do anything more than what I've done today. I did a really, I think, good job, actually, considering I'm struggling. Wow, look at that. All those POCs are all in the same place. You see that? All of them. They should lift that. I wouldn't short it, that's for sure. Okay, guys, au revoir on YouTube. Au revoir. Again, if you want to visit the room, TRADEnPERFORM@gmail.com. You get to see me struggling for this week. Anyways, talk to you later, guys.